If I were starting over and creating a leadership brand from scratch today, there are some small but important differences as to how I would go about it. Because you have to admit that the workplace is not the same place as it was, say, even 5 years ago. AI has drastically changed how we work, how we interact, and how we connect with others in the workplace. AI can easily have the same skill set as you. It can write reports, it can design PowerPoint slides, it can tell you exactly what your audience wants to hear so that when you speak, your message exactly resonates with them. But that leaves us with a question. If AI has the same skill set as you, how can people you work with see you as special? How can they see you as somebody who adds value that AI cannot? Well, the answer lies in your ability to develop and to augment your human touch, because at the end of the day, that is exactly what personal branding is about. It's about people experiencing you, people getting to know your unique perspectives, your personality, your voice. This is what helps the unique you stand out in a crowded space so you can be seen, heard, and recognized. If that sounds intriguing to you, then let's look at the first thing that you need to do to build a leadership brand in 2026. In the past, there has been an emphasis on differentiating yourself from other people in the workplace. But today, I think rather than trying to be different, it's a lot more effective if you just focus on being the real you. Because naturally, you are not the same as everybody else. You have your own unique experiences, your unique background, your unique skill set, weaknesses, strengths, and values as well. There are many things that are unique and already different about you. It's really a matter of just understanding what you are about, understanding how you are already different, and then trying to communicate to other people those unique aspects of who you are. And I think one of the best ways and easiest ways to really understand who you are and how you are unique is to come up with your unique value proposition. Now, you can get really deep into this. There are a number of steps that you can take to really work this out. But I want to share something that is really simple and easy for you to do in this video. So I'd like you to perform a SWOT analysis. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with what a SWOT analysis is. It's where you highlight your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I want you to do one of these for yourself. And I want you to first use introspection. I want you to first think to yourself, what are your strengths? What's your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Then I want you to go through your past performance reviews or meetings or any kind of feedback that you've received from other people in the office and try to pick out from that information any strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, or threats that you have identified. And here's an example on the screen as to what you could come up with. So for strengths, you could be down to earth, honest, and transparent. For your weaknesses, maybe you don't have enough attention to detail. Maybe you get too excited with new ideas and this can lead you to interrupt other people. For opportunities, maybe there is room to allow other people to shine and to show interest in what other people are saying. And for a threat, maybe people can see you as too direct or too abrupt when you communicate. So once you have all of this information from the SWOT analysis, then I want you to craft 1 to 2 sentences or just a really short paragraph for your unique value proposition. And an example of this would be, David's unapologetically down-to-earth and honest personality allows him to communicate transparently so others know what he thinks and feels. He's open to sharing his experiences and struggles, which makes him relatable, but he's aware that some might not mesh with his abrupt approach, so he has the flexibility and awareness to adapt if necessary. It can be really interesting doing this activity and uncovering your UVP, because I think you find out a lot more about yourself, probably more than you knew when you started this video. And I encourage you, if you are game enough, to write your UVP in the comments below. That way you can share it with other people. Other people can get to know what your UVP is. They can comment what they think about it. And also you will get to see what other people have written for their UVP, and that might give you some additional ideas as well. So if you are game enough, write it in the comments below. The next important step in building your leadership brand today is to allow the real you to shine. And this is really a step about liberating the real you. allowing other people to see who you are. Because I think in the corporate world, there is a lot of emphasis to develop a professional persona where we actually hide who we truly are in order to fit into the corporate persona or image that other people expect from us. While this is a good strategy, if you do it too much, it can dampen or even erase your UVP. And when you do this, in the end, nobody knows who you really are because you just seem like everybody else in the company. You're just another cog in the wheel where everybody is exactly the same. And this is actually how I felt at a certain time when I was in the corporate world. Another thing is that if you are too corporate, it is really easy to become too mechanic, especially in your interpersonal interactions. And I think in today's age, when people are so involved in technology, when AI is so much a part of our lives, we want to move away from that technical and mechanical kind of image. And people are eager to have more of the human touch, to have more of the human aspect in our interactions as well. So a much better approach is to find a balance between being professional, which is still important, and being the real you. And what I would recommend you to do here is share your personal experiences with other people at work. If you have struggled with a task, talk about it. If you have failed at something, share it. If you need help with something, make sure that you ask for it. But if you are going to talk about your struggles or failures, then I do recommend you talk about how you overcame those struggles or failures and what you learned along the way, because it will make you look a lot more human. People will be able to relate to it more, and it won't damage your credibility. Be transparent with your opinions. A lot of people hold back from sharing their opinions because they don't want to be seen as out of line, they don't want to be wrong, or they don't want to be challenged. But this is restraining the real you instead of liberating. And part of being human is to have different opinions to other people. So when you do have a different opinion, I encourage you to share it. And you can do it in a way that won't attract criticism, that will make you look very professional and sound professional while helping you sound like you as well. This is how I would do it. I see what you're saying, but my perspective is different. And then you would share your perspective rather than saying, you're wrong, this is how it is. Again, it's a slight tweak in the wording here, but words really matter. And this slight tweak can help you move from being seen as abusive or aggressive to somebody who is professional. And it still does allow you to express the real you too. And just another point on this, if you do want people to see who the real you is, then you have to communicate in a way that they will be receptive to hearing you. They will be receptive to hearing your opinion or perspective or idea. If you are too aggressive in the way that you communicate, if you offend other people when you communicate with the way that you say things, then they will automatically put up a block. They will shut off and they won't want to hear what you have to say next. So you won't even get a chance to express who the real you is. So I encourage you to try to communicate in a way that will allow other people to want to hear what you have to say. This is really important. I know some people might be thinking, well, I communicate directly. This is how I communicate. I'm a really abrupt person or an aggressive person. And I get that. But you also want other people to be receptive to what you have to say, right? You have to get into their minds. And the only way you can do that is if you communicate in a way that they will be eager to hear. Okay, so try to not be too aggressive with the way that you communicate things. Your message is more important than the way that you communicate, right? Think of what is more important here, your message or the way that you communicate. In the pursuit of being seen as more human at work, it doesn't mean that you cannot use AI at all in the workplace. Many of the tasks that you perform are probably done more efficiently, maybe even more accurately with the help of AI. And it can lead to you developing the reputation of being a leader who is more efficient and more effective when you do use AI in your workflows. So it isn't a bad thing to use AI at all. It can actually be a bonus in terms of your leadership reputation. But rather than relying solely on AI, it should be a blend of AI and your effort. You should use the strengths that AI has and use those to augment your work and to augment your effort. And make sure that you add in your own personal touch, add in your own creative flair or your own unique insights to the finished product as well, because this is how you're going to get a really good finished product that uses both AI and your own effort, that includes your own human touch. And this is how you are going to get that final product that does not damage your personal brand. Because if people think you have used purely AI to do your work, then they will start to question, what is the value that you actually bring to the team? What is the value you bring to the company? And this is absolutely going to damage your leadership brand, because people are going to question your competence. They're going to question whether you can actually do the work yourself. A good example of this is when AI is used in performance reviews. So I've done a video on my channel about this. So rather than relying just on the data points that AI gives you about a specific employee, about their performance, as a good manager, as a good HR manager, what you should be doing is adding in your own thoughts, your own experiences in working and interacting with that person, and your own ideas as to how you think that person is performing. If you relied solely on what AI told you, you would get a very limited picture on that person's performance, because it would miss a lot of the subjective data that only humans can see, that only humans can experience, and only humans can understand, right? So AI used in performance reviews, that is a really good example of how it should be a combination, a good blend of AI, but also that human touch. I'll admit that AI is really great for doing certain things, but so are us humans. We still have our own strengths and our own unique value that we can add to the table. So I think moving forward, especially if you want to build a solid leadership brand, it is important to still use AI, because that will make you look like a modern leader who knows how to use technology, and that is super important in today's workplace. But you also need to add in your own human touch, make people understand what your unique insights are, your creative flair, and who you are as well. This mesh is really important when you are building a leadership brand this year and also moving forward. If I were starting over and building my leadership brand from scratch this year, I would focus on strategic partnerships. So what do I mean by strategic partnerships? Strategic partnership is where you carefully choose how you participate, with whom you participate, and on what projects you participate in the workplace. And this impacts your leadership brand because it's how people get to experience you. It's how people get to experience working with you. And this forms a story as to who you are. And this story as to who you are, well, this forms your leadership brand. When I talk about how you participate, this includes many things. It can include how enthusiastic you are in meetings. It can include how you communicate. It can include how present you are in conversations. It can include whether you work from home or whether you work in the office. People who work from home will find it much harder to build their leadership brand and to solidify their leadership brand in the minds of other people, because they are not in the office as often. People don't get to interact with them as much. They don't get to see them or experience them as much. So it's natural that the leadership brand that they have will not be as strong as other people's. Communication is another factor when it comes to how you participate. If you hold back in meetings, if you don't share your thoughts, your ideas, or your perspectives, if you don't disagree with people when you think they are wrong, then people are not going to learn or understand what you think. Therefore, they won't get an idea as to who you are. Who you participate with is about strategically choosing who you want to be associated with in the office. And this can have a massive impact on your leadership brand because it shapes the perception other people have of you. If you want a leadership brand that says you are approachable, then don't just associate with senior leaders. Make sure you get to know people in your team and at the lower levels as well. If you're after a leadership brand that says you are successful, then make sure you associate with people who are already successful, because that will give the impression that you are a successful person yourself. What projects you participate in is another factor that will shape your leadership brand. If you're stuck on task-specific projects rather than ones that impact bigger organizational goals, then that won't help you develop the brand as somebody who is ready for leadership. Similarly, if you are only involved in projects that are short-term focused and not long-term focused, then that is going to pigeonhole you into lower level work. So what do you want your leadership brand to say about you? What do you want people to experience when they work with you? and try to align your participation in the office with that leadership brand that you want and that experience that you want people to have of you. The pinnacle of a strong leadership brand is trust. People won't want to work with you if they don't trust you. Clients won't want to sign with you if they don't trust you. Your boss won't want to promote you if he or she doesn't trust you. And in a world where AI has the same knowledge as you or even the same skill set as you, trust is the one thing that humans have that AI does not. And this is the one thing that can really separate us humans from AI in the workplace. You might think that trust is difficult to build and that it takes time. Well, both are kind of true, but what I do tell people is that if you focus on two things, if you focus on consistency and also authenticity, then that will help you to build trust a lot quicker. Consistency is important because that is how people rely on who you are. Think about it. If one day in the office you are friendly and approachable, and then the next day you are angry and hostile, people aren't going to know who you are because the behavior you have on the second day isn't consistent with how they expect you to be. And this impacts your leadership brand because it introduces an element of uncertainty, and this leads people to begin to distrust you. So I recommend that you be consistent with your communication at work, with the way that you interact with other people as well. Consistency breeds trust, and this will help you to develop a strong and a reliable leadership brand with other people. Authenticity is the second element, and this one is super important because people need to know the real you. People need to see the authentic, real you in order for them to be able to trust you. If you lie, if you hide your intentions, if you pretend to be somebody that you are not, this will come across as inauthentic, and this will immediately break the trust that people have developed with you. For your leadership brand to survive in today's AI-driven digital world where human connection is dwindling, we need to get back to the basics that people used for many, many years. We need to strengthen the human appeal that we have if we want our leadership brand to stand out. Learning executive level interpersonal skills is a really great way to boost your human appeal and to better your interactions with other people at work so you can go on and build a strong leadership brand. If you want to learn about executive level interpersonal skills, then I recommend you to check out this video here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it will help you to develop your leadership brand this year, and I will see you next week in another video.